Every week, Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Pacific, we come together for a program, Our Healing Choices. It is a place to discuss a different wellness topic each week, share what we know, listen if we don't. What can I say? I was going to try something a little different tonight, fielding some question and answer for some of the people who are listening just through like Google Hangouts. It's Hangouts on Air, for any of you guys who are familiar with that. So I don't share the link here on Zello because it would be a lot of like feedback audio-wise. But I was tentatively going to field some questions in there. Someone, if they're savvy, they could maybe, if anybody does use it, could maybe field that. But I'm just not in the same room as that computer, so I thought I would be able to do it, but it's just not going to work out. I might have to get someone else to help me. But yeah, at least the thought is there. We can get some Q&A and some discussion here in Zello, but also from people who are listening in on the Hangout on Air. So without further ado, this is a little bit of a long intro, and I apologize ahead for this. I grabbed something from the internet. This one, the topic, by the way, is week 108, and the topic is the mind-body connection. I grabbed this from the internet. It was in an article. It says, what is the mind-body connection? Sylvia's story, and it's referring to, something that happened with Sylvia. It says Sylvia's story is a great example of what we call the mind-body connection. This means that our thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and attitudes can positively or negatively affect our biological functioning. In other words, our minds can affect how healthy our bodies are. On the other hand, what we do with our physical body, what we eat, how much we exercise, even our posture, can impact our mental state. Again, positively or negatively. This results in a complex interrelationship between our minds and bodies. Mind-body specialist Dr. James Gordon states that the mind and body are essentially inseparable. The brain and peripheral nervous system, the endocrine and immune systems, and indeed all the organs of our body and all the emotional responses we have share a common chemical language and are consistent and are constantly communicating with one another. So yeah, I just like to throw it out there. What exactly does this mean to you guys? What are your thoughts on this? Because this is kind of a different one.
What's up, guys? How are you, everyone? Nice to be back. Say hi to everybody. Based on what you said, Hope, is yes, that's why you feel pain if your liver hurts or kidneys or your toe, if you drop something, is because it's constantly communicating with your brain, and that's how you feel things. If you cut that off, those connections, you can chop your finger off and you won't even know you did it. Now, I'm a medic. I studied like for a nurse, like a head nurse. But anyway, anybody in Texas?
Oh, what kind of glitches are going on right now? Couldn't even enter the channel.
Oh, you're here. Welcome, Christopher and Maxim. Very good point. The pain is basically our body's way of communicating with our mind to tell us something ain't right. You need to change this.
There is bypass, what you can do. There's medicine, I forget what it's called, but if you take it, it cuts off. So literally, you lose all the feelings. I mean, it shuts down the reception, because let's say there's two walls and there's information in the middle. What that medicine does, it blocks those walls. There's little holes in those walls, and it blocks them. So all the information that's in the middle, let's say it's little circles that's supposed to go in those holes. They try to get in, but they can't. And what happens is that you lose that connection with your whole body, and anything you do to your body you will not feel. You can cut whatever, you can stab yourself, you will not feel a thing. Right? I just have to think about it, and I'll be able to tell you what the medicine is. Also, alcohol does the same thing. You know why people cannot, the more they get drunker, the more they lose their speech, they're more, they cannot like talk or walk, is because alcohol has the same effect as that medicine. It shuts down those walls and the information cannot pass. And that's why drunk people, they fall, they can't walk, they can't talk or think.
They tell me about that. It's been communicating with me all weekend. And that was me that cut you off a minute ago. My bad.
Is that the same with morphine? Is that the same thing? Isn't it?
I think the word for is a common drug, ibuprofen. Is that the one you were thinking of?
No. It's a narcotic drug. It's not one of those over-the-counter crap. Um, Shit, it just flew out of my mind. I cannot remember it. Um, as soon as I remember, I'll tell you. But alcohol, it's the only thing. Even drugs don't do that. Alcohol is the only thing that has the same effect as this narcotic drug that will stop the information from your brain to your organs and your body and nerve system.
Are you thinking about Vicodin or hydrocodones there, Max?
No, it's not those narcotics that they give you for pain. It's strictly narcotic. They use it only mostly they use it in like Navy and the Army when people like get their shit blown up, like arms and everything. I'm just trying to remember. When you try to remember something, you can't. That's what's happening right now.
I think you're thinking about morphine there. Morphine will take away any pain. I think someone mentioned that already about the morphine.
Not the morphine. There's morphine. There is Dilaudid, which is synthetic morphine. It is a lot stronger than morphine itself. Um, this stuff it's very rarely they use it, and basically morphine because it.
Don't worry about it, man. Get it at some point. It's all good. But yeah, cool.
I don't know if it's just me. Maybe I have bad reception because I'm at the border with Mexico. Or hope your internet kind of went crazy.
Yeah, there's no audio, Andrew.
I can't hear anything. I mean, is it just me, guys, or it's you can hear them too?
No, Andrew, for some reason you're dead keying. I don't know what's going on.
Hey, David, what's up? How are you? What's new? I haven't been here for a couple days. I've been driving a lot, and just, anyway, I'm in Texas right now at the border with Mexico.
Hi, Max. Nice to hear from you. But right now we're not an open channel, so let's save the conversation for later and let Andrew get on with the show, or try to anyway. He's having problems there.
And you hear me now.
Yeah, we got you, Andrew.
What do you mean it's not open show? Or I don't know what you're talking about. Explain, please.
So I'm just curious, do you guys have any experiences with the mind-body connection? Anyone have any actual experiences or examples of that?
Every day, let's say, example. Um, let's say if you believe and if you're religious and it says you cannot do it, right? You cannot play with yourself. Um, you always play with your mind. You on one side, you're sinning if you do it, and on the other side, you want to do it. So it's constantly battle with your body needs and your mind. I mean, that's how I look at it.
Okay, good example. It is a real example, I guess. So thanks for sharing. The other one that I can think of that is very real is how many of you guys have ever had to, let's say, speak in front of an audience? It's one of the biggest fears of all of humanity is public speaking, right? And so, or even that, or like a test. Okay, you are like a lot of people who aren't prepared and haven't had a lot of practice in this get very anxious leading up to this event, right? And to the point where it actually starts affecting their stomach. The butterflies actually physically, physiologically affect our stomach and the way our intestines digest things, to the point where literally we could have gas, we could have even like diarrhea. It just could throw everything off in that area of our body. So it's a direct example of our mind and our worries and our anxiety literally having a physiological effect on our body. And that's just in the matter of, it could be hours. So imagine if, I look at it as, imagine if that's something that you felt day in and day out. Do you think it's only extending to your stomach and that area of your body? I think not. I think it's probably way beyond that.
Well, it depends. Like if you're throwing speech, if it's uncomfortable speech, then yes, of course you're gonna have discomfort in the whole body area. But if it's something comfortable and you're in the society of people that feel comfortable about what you're talking about, you will feel it's actually a relief and it feels good and it's healthy for you.
Yeah, but isn't the central nervous system around the solar plexus area? It's like when you get a bad feeling about someone, it's like the aura or whatever. You feel that in your chest, your stomach area. I used to do broadcasting on radio stations, and before I got on the mic to talk, because you know that there's a wide audience of people, thousands up London. That was quite nerve-wracking and a bit made you feel sick, but you just had to do it.
The only discomfort I feel about in the stomach area is constipation because I drive like a shitload. I drive 3.5 to 4,000 miles every 5 days, and always sitting or laying down, sleeping. That's the only discomfort I feel. I need to move around.
Oh, finally got the button. All right, guys. I'm gonna get on out of here. You all have a good night, and see you guys when I see you guys again.
I definitely agree with as far as you know, when you're speaking publicly, it can make you nervous. And I agree with the point too that if you're trying to do something good, it can give you those warm, fuzzy feelings. But I do want to make a point too of when you specifically like use you're angry or stuff, it's kind of like a poison to your.
Spiritual warrior, just to give you a little heads up, your volume, it may not just be me. You guys let me know if spiritual warrior's volume was low. Just so you know, you can adjust that in your settings on your phone. I forget the actual like prompts. I'm not really on my phone right now, but someone could probably show you how to get to that place where you can adjust your microphone gain so that we hear you a little louder. Yeah, just saying. Glad to have you here. Glad to have your input, but might want to try to change that so we can hear you better, because it sounds like your voice is gold, my friend.
Hey everybody, we have a new guest. Johnny Ray, aka Oklahoma Outlaw, is here to join the channel, so let's give him a warm ring of fire welcome.
Okay, does anyone else have any experiences with the mind-body connection that they'd like to share? People who understand this maybe more than others, just to give us all kind of a taste of what are we talking about here.
Well, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you.
Well, hey, Oklahoma Cowboy, there's a face I haven't seen in a long ass time.
Based on that mind and body thing, so when I'm driving through a storm, you know, it's like flooding everywhere, and it's like the wind is so strong it's blowing my car. My mind understands that I need to be there like in the morning. I cannot stop. But my body, I feel like I'm gonna crap myself because I'm so freaking scared. And that's another example. I've had that a couple times already since I've been driving the truck. Some pretty scary shit you see, like when you see like cars wrecked and semis flipped over on the road, and you're driving by and you're like, you know, you could be there any minute.
Right, can I have a mic check now? 1, 2.
I've always been able to hear you just fine, a spiritual warrior. So I'm not sure if it was just old boy up there, but I was hearing you just fine. Now I can hear you even better.
Yeah, okay, nice one for that. Yeah, I did turn it up a bit. Setting was a little bit low, but I'm using a handheld PMR microphone, which I've got shoved in the socket here. But yeah, anyway.
Okay, take that little handheld microphone and throw it out a window, because those never do anyone no good.
Better for me now. Anybody else feel the spiritual is coming in well?
If you guys allow me to ask you a question, is, you know, whoever is here right now live, can you guys name what states you're in? I'm just interested because, you know, I drive all over the United States, and I just want to see how many people where I at. I'm from Ohio myself.
That's why sometimes you have to wonder, why can't we be friends? Even though this might be a 420 login, but same thing, even though it's quiet on this end.
I don't know if it was me you guys were talking about who had a low voice, but I believe you can also adjust the sound output coming out of your end as well. When MORG is usually talking, I have him turned up so that I can hear him better.
I'm out of LA, Los Angeles.
Well, that's something you don't see every day. A lion hugging a zebra. And I think the world's gone totally mental. All right, guys. I've either had too much to drink or I'm too tired to be on this thing anymore. You all have a good one.
I'm going to go ahead and hop off this channel because everybody keeps interrupting me. If I'm not going to be able to get a piece of my mind out there, just forget it.
I think Dusty got cut off back. And what were you saying about anger being like a poison? You want to elaborate on that? And also, spiritual, did you have anything else did you need to finish your thought from before, or do you have any other thoughts on that?
No, I got a little bit sidetracked there with the comments going on there. I thought, well, things were a little bit off topic or whatever. Some guy asking where everyone is and stuff like that. Well, if he's still listening, I'm in the southwest of the UK, a place called Devon, countryside and all that. But no, nothing yet.
Oh, I'm sorry if I pushed you. I just this button, I can't catch it. Keep pushing it, and it just keeps going. No, the reason I ask is because I drive everywhere. I've been in LA already twice. I had deliveries down there. Um, like I was supposed to be loaded today, and they made a mistake, so it's for tomorrow. And I'm going to Canada, into ON. I think it's Ontario, Canada.
Oh, crap, I didn't mean to cut you off. And I was just queuing to key up to tell people not to cut each other off. Right now, Zello is having an issue where people can cut each other off sooner. It's normally set for 40 seconds, and it's having an issue, and I think that's why it's happening more.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
My queen. I'm sorry if I did, but I'm like right like at the border with Mexico, so I don't know, my reception, like I have to push a lot to get through. Usually I push like twice and it's through, but now it's like 10 times, 20 times I have to press this damn button.
Yeah, Dusty, you're cool, man. I just think that there's some untrusted users trying to cause a little bit of a havoc right now. That happens from time to time. No matter what you do, you're always going to have haters, and they're just being haters. I love them, but I can't keep them from being a hater, right? So once we get through that, I think we'll be good. I think what I've noticed here is that a lot of the examples that we might come up with about the mind-body connection are, well, at least so far what I've heard is negative, right? And for those of you who don't know, there's something called a placebo effect, and there's something called a nocebo effect. And the nocebo effect, whereas the placebo effect is the anticipation of something positive happening, the nocebo effect is the anticipation of something negative happening. So, in the case of, getting up to do a speech, the reason for the nocebo effect, the anticipation of negative happening, is because we expect the worst. We think the worst sometimes. I mean, like, again, with practice and with some experience, obviously it gets easier and you get better, just like any skill. But it sounds like so far it's the nocebo effect. But what about the placebo effect? Does anybody know much about the placebo effect?
Hope, we all, everyone.
I suppose what might fit in there is like the first kiss, however your first kiss or something. When you meet someone, that's not a negative thing, is it? It's just something that it's leading up to something positive. I'm sure something like that.
Yeah, that's definitely a placebo effect. Or just in the case of taking a placebo, when somebody says it's going to do something good for you, this pill will make you happy, and it's nothing but sugar.
Finally, I get the button. Hello.
If you see something negative or bad, make it positive. Or if you see somebody in help them. And if everyone does that, it's going to be a better world for everyone.
And hi, Matt. How you doing, brother? You cut off there, but we heard you. We get you. I think I got you. Welcome to the program.
I am doing pretty good. Sorry, my Wi-Fi is crap, but yeah.
Okay, maybe you could get closer to your Wi-Fi. Say hi to it. Feel the Wi-Fi. Feel the Wi-Fi.
Just go to like Best Buy, and there's 3 or 4 different levels of Wi-Fi boxes. You can get like the biggest one. I think it's like $200, and that thing is like extra strong. Like, I mean, that's what I have. I can be outside across the street, and I still get my internet like crazy fast.
Okay, so I'm assuming we all know that the placebo effect is one of the best examples of the mind-body connection. Does anyone else have any thoughts on the placebo effect or any insights about that? Because that's pretty huge. How it's used in medicine, any of that stuff?
No, I don't know. Not that I know of, but
Yeah, another big thing for placebo, and like you said, it's used in medicine, but not only is it used like as a medicine, like people who are fighting cancer, they have people come in and just tell them, you can beat this, you can fight this, we'll pray for you, pray to God and pray to your God, what have you, and that is like a placebo as well, and actually does heal people from cancer.
Yeah, I believe it's a pretty powerful stuff, I think the fact that a medicine that is made needs to beat, quote unquote, the placebo control group, whatever, in order to be, authorized for use in, as a drug, what they don't seem to tell us, like a doctor typically, is not going to help us increase the placebo effect versus give us a drug. It's weird. It's like, wait a minute. All this medication is trying to beat the placebo effect, meaning the placebo effect is the best, and yet they give us a drug. So anyway, anyone else have a slight issue with that? Slight or serious issue with that?
Oh, I definitely have a very serious issue with that. I am not a person to take pills, and if I was go to the doctor, I would rather not take the pill and tell myself that I can beat this, I'm stronger than that, mind over matter.
yeah. I was just gonna say to Max, I I can't afford a $200 router. I'm sorry, that's just not in my budget. If you can hear me.
Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food.
Karaoke, are you in the United States? I mean, the reason I'm asking because I am. If you are, I'll buy you. I'll send you through Western Union the money, or I'll just buy it and send it to your address, whatever. So you have a good one. I'm not joking. I'm serious.
maybe Maxim can be our Ring of Fire great Gatsby to help us all meet up in one place and hang out for a weekend or something. That would be cool. Maybe he's our guy. Hey, if he's willing to drop $250 for a router, what's another couple $100 for some plane tickets? Kidding. Just throwing it out there. Someday we're gonna stumble upon that person, and who knows? Maybe that person will be me. I'd like to think.
Personally, I think we should, everybody that is friends, like here or whatever or not, gather in one place, grab some beers, go to, strip club or just a bar, play some pool. That's what we should do. That's the best way to do it. No, I mean, I would not offer it if I couldn't afford it. I drive a truck all over the place. I can't afford things. And help people out. I always do. So not like just on Zello, but in real life. If there's like beggars, I give them money.
Okay, but here's the thing. I'm not allowed to give my address out to people that I barely even know. Sorry.
Oh, bummer. Oh, I feel so bad for you, Matt. No, I'm kidding. I think it's reasonable. But he seems pretty genuine. I would take him up on the offer, maybe once you get to know him a little bit more. I think trust in people is one of those things that should be first and not last. To a certain extent, I mean, you can't, I feel like you can't let distrust in others and people letting you down in the past affect your relationship with every person, every new person that comes into your life. I think it matters a lot that we trust first and send that energy and bring that out of people. Like that energy of, I trust you, I'm going to bring the trustworthiness out of you versus the, I don't trust you. And believe it or not, sorry to make you a bit of an example, Matt, but believe it or not, if you distrust people from the start, essentially you're going to bring the distrust out of them. Everybody has the ability to be, malicious or good, and you can inadvertently bring it out of them. Is all I'm saying. It's weird.
That is a very good example of the nocebo effect.
Hope, you just said the gold words. You cannot bring past into the. See, if in past you were hurt or whatever, and you are not trusting the person or anybody, you will not. If anybody comes in your life, you don't trust them. It's gonna literally drag you down to the ground, and it's bad. You shouldn't do that. And I'm not saying give me your address. I can literally to Western Union. All I need is your first name, last name, country, and that's it. And a phone number. Actually, it's not always you need the phone number. And
Okay, but I'm sorry to keep interrupting here, but haven't you seen Dateline? How to Catch a Predator? Let me give you the short version of the long story. This one guy was chatting with this other person, and this other person seemed kind of harmless online, but when they met in person, turns out he was a sexual predator. So I don't want to take that chance.
I don't want to meet you, if that's what you're saying. Okay, whatever. But I just said, I'll get you the router if you need it, through Western Union or whatever. But there's no meeting, whatever. Don't think that.
You know, Matt's got a good point. It could happen, but it's one of those things like that's someone else's experience, right? And you had no control over that experience, right? But you do have control over your experience. So it, you know, I guess it'd be a balance, you know, of intuition, trust first, but then using your intuition to know, you know, based on past experiences, this doesn't seem right. Walk away. You know, it doesn't have to be too much more complicated than that, I don't think. But yeah, what was I gonna? Did anyone else have any thoughts? Or you know, needed to finish something about this, about the placebo, nocebo, that kind of stuff? Good examples, Dusty, by the way. You're pointing that out, that it was a nocebo effect.
See, I'm an open person. You know what I think. That's what I say, even if people like it or not. I do not wear a mask. Most people wear mask. You talk to them, they're one thing, and you meet them, they're the other. And you know that's bad. That's crap. So, and I'm a person of my word. If I say something, I do it. You know, there's no reason to say something and not do it because you end up being a dumbass. You know.
So hard to get through, you guys. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Ring of Fire. Hi, Andrew, Dex, and Cheryl. Hi, I missed you. And David. How are you this morning, Your Highness? How is everyone else? I heard that somebody gave.
Hi. Hey, you. Somebody was just asking about you like an hour and a half ago, Dex. Says they haven't seen your eyes. I haven't seen you either. It's good to hear from you.
Finally. Sorry, I have to take a couple. 1 minute, please. Yes, Cheryl. I heard that Andrew gave away the energy. I kind of needed that. Carry on, Andrew. Sorry. It's hard to get through, though. Anyways, I'm exhausted right now. Since last week, I just got home. And I don't think that anybody wants to know that. But yeah, I'm just saying.
You know, guys, kind of sad. Like I asked earlier, you know, who's here from what state? Because I drive everywhere, so I just want to see like how often I hit that state where I drive. You know, there's people that I know on the channel, and hope the only person that answered, like everyone else didn't. Maybe it's a wrong question I asked. I don't know, but I'm just interested.
Hey, Vanilla, I missed you, sweetheart. Sorry if I cut anybody off there. I'm bouncing between untrusteds and not. Yeah, talk to you later.
You know, there was a product that I was selling recently, and someone was able to identify the brand by the logo that was on it, and that was great. It was right before I sold it. Really cool. I have another thing, and I'm not sure what you call it. It's a hat, so I'm going to post a picture and see if anybody knows the name of it. It's like a lot of English people wear them. You guys might even know what it's called just based on what I just told you, but hold on. I'm going to pick out.
Okay. I'm going to send some energy to Heriani. You know what kind of energy I'm sending your way, so there it is. Who else? What else was going on here that I needed to attend to? Oh yeah, Maxim. Yeah, I think it's just the fact that we're generally having a program, and we have a kind of a topic that people feel a little bit, you know, they feel bad maybe for replying to you when it's really about the topic for the most part. So I'd love to be able to entertain all kinds of open topic stuff, but that's probably why you didn't get much of a response. But you got my response. Hopefully that's enough for now. But you seem like a great guy, and I think you all should take some time to connect with Maxim and answer the question now or later. You know what I'm saying? Seems to be a good guy.
Hope next time I'm in LA, hopefully I'll see you on the channel, let you know where I'm at. Maybe you've been to that city. I mean, I've been driving for 8 months on this thing, so. And in California, I've been twice. Once in LA, and the other time is Los Angeles, I believe. No, wait, not Los Angeles. Las Vegas. So
Pretty much every truck driver I've met here on in the Ring of Fire or on Zello is a pretty cool person. Pretty genuine, real, good-hearted, all that shit. So it just seems to be the type of job. Like, it's really kind of making me want to do that, just because you have so much extra money, and if that was your point, to have extra money, and be able to give it away and be good with it and stuff, then you're doing the right thing. You're where you're supposed to be. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And yeah, if you ever come through LA, hit me up. I'd love to learn the ropes and see a little bit about that life.
I'll teach you some Ukrainian and Russian language. I'm from Ukraine myself. Another thing is that when you drive, you learn how to have patience, a lot of patience, because there's a lot of dicks on the road, people that cut you off, flick you off. You get to see a lot of bad things like accidents, cars on fire, wrecked. Um, so you start appreciating life a lot more, and you know that on the road, it's road is the biggest killer in the world, I think, because a lot of people die on the road. And but mostly you learn how to have patience and learn how to, with the patience, to listen to people.
Yeah, I think you'll find death is the biggest killer. Anyway, I've got to scoot. Things have gone a little bit off topic and stuff. It's gone up to 3 a.m. and I've got to get up at 7 or 8. So I'll catch you later.
Hi, Spiritual. Thanks for joining us, brother. Just know that we have this program each week. Usually try to stay on topic. It's a little bit sloppy tonight, but we got some time. But yeah, add me as a contact, and you'll be sure to get the call alert that I send out about an hour before each program with the topic of the night. If you ever feel compelled to join us on a particular topic, do that, and you'll have a venue for your voice, which I believe is good. So have a great night. Catch you on the flip side.
Andrew, and also I'm very sorry, because I'm new to this channel. It's like my second time on here, and I don't know what's you guys about. Like you're talking about topic, and I'm sorry I interrupted that. I mean, that's all I can say.
Yeah. Anyway, good night. And I know this is off topic, and I usually don't throw random stuff in here like at this time, but that's something I'm working on right now. Any recognize be called in the picture?
The hat looks like what Russians used to wear, because I'm from Ukraine, Soviet Union. Russians used to wear back in the day in history. It was very popular, actually.
I think it's English, but I don't know what you call it other than an English cap.
You know what? I could have just looked it up. I typed in English cap, and it looks like it's called an English driver cap or hat. Thank you, though, you guys. It looks like it's also known as a cabbie. a cabbie hat or cap, or a longshoreman's cap.
In Ukraine, about 3 years ago, it was for about 2 years. It was a really big hit. Like hats like that, people wear constantly everywhere in the summertime. But because in winter it gets really cold, like Siberia or some shit like that, and they have to wear those like fox hats, like real leather and fur.
Oh, here's what I know it as. That's right, a newsboy cap. Apparently has a lot of names also besides those, like flat cap or Irish cap, bicycle cap, Irish cap, quite a few. In Scotland, it's a bonnet, also known as a paddy cap. That's probably in Ireland, or crook cap as well.
Sorry if I cut you off there, Cheryl. I swear I just saw those the other day, and none of those names identified that. It was something else. It's so weird. It apparently has a ton of names. But so yeah, I'm just rolling down through to keep us on topic here. The next point of discussion I was thinking was our choices and the mind-body connection. How do our choices relate to that?
Yeah, sorry to sort of switch off. Cheryl, my dad wears one of those caps, and he calls it a flat cap.
Based on choices in mind, I'll answer, Andrew. See, mostly we do what our body feels like doing. So basically, your brain, it's like always on a shutdown mode. Not like a shutdown mode, but it's like it's always on. Let's say, I'm gonna talk a little bit sexually here. Let's say you see a nice girl walking by. What's happening? Your brain takes that information and immediately processes it and sends it down to your bottom, and then your body has the power over your brain because you want to do whatever.
I can't help not to comment about the road. Sorry, Andrew, it's out of topic, but I've been like, well, instead the road will be the biggest killer. Actually, human egocentric selfishness is the biggest killer, because the road invented and there exists to connect human beings to see each other, to help each other. If we can be ourselves, then nobody's gonna get killed.
Sort of the topic. See, on the road, it's unpredictable because people drive, they fall asleep, and most wrecks are falling asleep. Like in Texas, every state has, when you enter, it has a sign how many deaths are happening this year. So in Texas, in 4 months, there's 838 deaths already. Last year was 4,328 within the whole year. And it's just on the roads. It's mostly people falling asleep and wrecking. Because
Sorry to cut you off there, Maximum. If I did, I don't know why you still show us talking, but weird. I was just thinking about this. It just jumped in. Is that there? Even though it is a statistic, what you are saying, it would be like the doctor telling you the statistic about how long you have to live from, let's say, cancer. It is what's been defined as a nocebo effect, a negative expectation. So in your mind, when you're on the road, you're thinking this negative expectation, like I might get in an accident like the next moment, and that's not a healthy. I mean, call it what you will, but it's not a healthy thing to have to recognize that statistic can be an actual nocebo effect, a negative effect on your body. It's just an interesting thing. So good point, guys, and thanks for sharing, Hediani, that. You make a good point. You both make good points. I just had to jump in. Sorry.
It actually makes a positive thing on me because I am more alert, because I see all this crap happening. I'm always more alert, and when I feel like I'm about to fall asleep, because I drive sometimes direct, which means like straight, 1,500 miles to 2,000 miles, and when I feel like I'm about to fall asleep, I pull over and I go to bed. I don't push myself because a lot of people push. I did that before, but a lot of people push themselves, and when your body is shutting down, it can shut down so quick you won't even know if you're sleeping. Actually, I actually had it once happening to me, and I woke up before I was going off the road, into the ditch. Thanks God. And so, in one way, it has the positive thing of knowing that there's a lot of, seeing those signs, seeing those wrecks. It puts you to alert.
Hey, Andrew, back to what you said earlier, like about the doctor saying how many days someone has to live with cancer. My grandpa, they just told my stepdad's dad that he only has 52 weeks to live.
That does not make the exact days, because lots of people have been saying like, oh, you're gonna be dead next week. You got a week left, but they stay on another 7 years.
The most important thing is to not believe it. There's a thing called, what is it? The long tail of a statistical curve. So however you want to look at a statistical curve, you can imagine, the doctor is going by the short tail, meaning the amount of time that most people live given this condition, whatever is going on with them, whether it be cancer, whether it be tuberculosis, whether it be whatever it is that could potentially cause you to die. The short tail is what they're talking about. Unfortunately, doctors aren't aware of the placebo effect and how important, how potent their words are, especially when someone who is their patient trusts in the word of the doctor, which the doctor himself is like a drug in a sense in what he says or doesn't say, he or she says or doesn't say. So it's really important to not believe the doctor, especially in those situations. Know that the long tail of the statistics show that there are a certain percentage of people who live a very long time. I mean, if you really want to calculate it over from thousands of people, that long tail could go like 20 years, 30 years out, where a certain percentage, maybe it's small, but a certain percentage live to be 30 years. Well, how did they live to be 30 years? How did they live 30 years longer when the doctor tells you whatever it might be, 6 months? It's total BS, and I highly recommend, I'm going to drop a couple books in a second here, but I would highly recommend at least writing down a book called The Mind-Body Code. I was just reading it today, and it tells a lot about that. And also, the other one is called, let me look it up real quick. I've got a couple more I could give you, but definitely that is not a death sentence. Absolutely not. Do everything you can to remind this person in your life that this is not a death sentence. It's simply your body's way of telling him that he needs to change, whatever it was that got him in this situation, and understand what got him in this situation.
Hey, Andrew, I didn't formally say hello, but anyway, hello, buddy. I was just working the back door there. Isn't the opposite true, too, that someone that has hypochondriac tendencies can actually cause themselves to get diseases?
That's a great example of a mind-body connection. Absolutely, you can do that. People can definitely do that. The power of thought And also other emotional issues can cause disease. A lot of stress, for instance, or regret, or resentment. And in fact, certain emotions can target certain parts of the body. Like with my mom, for instance, she has a guy that would just drive her crazy with his games and his lies, and how much he's screwed up, and she's had a lot of resentment towards him. And that particular one will target the breast, so it was really no surprise that she got breast cancer.
Cheryl makes a good point. And Cheryl, if you care to elaborate on that stuff, anything else you know, do share. But in response, Dave, first of all, thank you for being here. Totally appreciate what you're doing on the back end. You are the foundation, you and Cheryl and whoever else has got my back right now. I appreciate you guys. Okay, in the state of a hypochondriac who expects everything, I guess, to be germs or whatever, right? I'm pretty sure that's what it was about. They're basically working with the idea of a nocebo effect, which is the expectation of a negative outcome. They're constantly expecting, instead of a placebo effect where you're expecting, like the doctor says, you know, you should be good with this medicine or whatever, you should be good in a couple weeks or whatever, you know, whether they gave you the drug or not the drug, they're telling you that this should make you better. Them telling you is like the placebo effect, right? Well, what a hypochondriac is dealing with at all times, basically, is this nocebo effect, which is the expectation of a negative outcome, meaning they think that this is going to get them sick, this other thing is going to get them sick. If they do this, this is going to happen. Oh no, fear, 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 fear. And they basically just dig themselves into a deeper hole every moment that they continue with this mindset, which is why I think understanding our minds is so incredibly important to our health. Because when we understand our mind and why this is all going down, then click, oh right, I just needed to have this tool, flip the switch. Oh right, I don't have to deal with that struggle anymore. I'm over it. I'm not saying it's that simple, but in essence, once you have a tool for your mind, you then have a choice to either use that tool or ignore it and or not trust it. I mean, you might have to have a little bit of a nudge to help you to see that this is something you can trust. You know, it's real. You can trust this info or whatever it is.
Andrew, it's like how the doctor says the flu shot's gonna help you, which all the flu shot does is get you sick. It don't prevent it. It just gets you straight sick, and that.
Hey, by the way, hypochondriacs, it's not so much an issue of people being afraid that germs are going to get them sick. There might be a little of that going on, but if they're terribly afraid of germs, then they're a germaphobe. Whether or not they're a hypochondriac, that would be a germaphobe. Hypochondriacs, actually, whether or not they have symptoms, but even more so when they have symptoms, they can have something as simple as a headache or a little ache behind their eyeball, and they start freaking out and they start reading medical journals and WebMD and stuff like that, and following all these little symptom things and going, oh my God, I think I have, myopia. I've got, chronic migraines with this, and I have subdural hematoma, and oh my God, I'm going to die, and I'm going to have I'm going to have an aneurysm, and then they start freaking out and they go really overboard.
I've actually known a couple of hypochondriacs who, anytime someone had an issue, a disease and an ailment, a week later or whatever, the hypochondriac would have the same symptoms, and they really believed that they had the same disease or ailment as the one that told them about their ailment. And you'd see people like this, and I mean they'd have aching backs and whatever somebody mentioned, they got it. And it's a lousy way to live life, but it does say a lot about how the mind works. The mind can cure you, but the mind can also make you sick. State of mind.
Yeah, it's based in fear, and they're fearful, and that really can make them sick. But it's also suggestive, like that. You make them aware of one more illness that they could possibly have, and all of a sudden they start feeling that way. And it could be totally psychosomatic. Good chance it is. That is, if they are feeling symptoms. It could also be empathetic symptoms, which I've had before. It has nothing to do with fear. I've just actually felt people's pain and headaches and emotional, physical pain. But that's because I'm an empath. But yeah, pretty crazy how they're starting. They discover a new illness, so now they have it.
What did you say? Was it psychosomatic, or basically you're saying that like they feel like they have it, and then by feeling so strongly that they have it, they actually develop the condition? I mean, is that true? Does anyone have any experience? Like, has anyone heard of that actually? It sounds like you have, Cheryl, but I mean, in a way, truly, in my intuition, I don't doubt it for a second. I think our mind is so powerful that we could literally create, a sickness. Just.
Yeah, I didn't mean so much that they're going to create the illness with their mind, though I suppose that could happen. But yeah, that would have to be very powerful. I meant more so that they're so worried that they have it or they're going to have it that they actually physically feel the symptoms, though they don't have it, because they've manipulated their thoughts into literally creating that feeling in their body.
So then, now that we established that it's state of mind, what tools are there available to help you with that state of mind?
Right. Yeah, we do like to, be solution driven here and try to find an angle in helping that. I don't know. I feel that's an emotional illness. That's a psychological illness. Somebody who is a hypochondriac, just like any phobias or addiction or something. Really, that's an illness. And, some mental illnesses are treated with drugs, but this is more of a thing that would have to be treated with psychological care. As with most psychological issues, even if the drugs are used, they should have a combination of both therapy as well. I don't think there's really any drug for that. I mean, there could be something that maybe calms them a little bit, some kind of anti-anxiety thing if it's really driving them crazy. But yeah, they definitely need therapy to come to terms that this is all in their head. The symptoms are even in their head, and that they're not going to get like every illness under the sun. That they should just live life, take as best care of themselves as they can, and that's going to reduce the chances of getting ill. But people do get ill, and it could happen. But enjoy life in the meantime.
Yeah, the book that I was re-listening to today, The Mind Body Code, was he recommends that on each. This is just one that I heard, and I didn't listen to the whole book, and it's been a while since I've listened to it. So, but one of the examples he was using was, when you're breathing, you just get into you're focusing on your breathing, but you're also, in your mind, you're basically saying love, and you're also saying I am safe. Love, I am safe. Like on an exhale or whatever, every breath, love, and then every other breath, I am safe. So for a hypochondriac who feels unsafe and unsecure, this could be a very good tool, because what he said is one of the main factors of mind-body healing is that this idea of repetition, he might have used a different word, but when enough negative patterns happen in our lives, whether it be we're repeating it in our own mind or we see it too much in our outer experience, if we see and or repeat it enough in our mind, it becomes true for us. So the idea of the love and then I am safe mantra, or whatever you want to call it, meditation, is the idea of getting into our mind repetition of things that are healing to us, so that the brain works with that. The brain works with repetition. The more of something we see, the more we become, and that becomes our experience, right? So that's all it is simply just getting in more of the positive, will be the placebo, into our being, into our existence, into our mind-body experience, whatever. And then we can get better from that state of being, state of mind. So there are many mental tools, and that's one of the reasons why this program exists, is that we get into a lot of that stuff, like, so that we can have, kind of a balanced mindset, so that we don't get down these rabbit holes that a hypochondriac would get into. There are ways to get out of it without drugs. And I don't think I ever have even hinted at the fact that we should be getting, gravitating towards a drug to answer these problems. And yes, it has been stated that yes, some things do require drugs, absolutely, and I get that. But in most cases, there is a solution that doesn't involve drugs.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard you suggest that drugs be used. And yeah, you're right. Sometimes, and I think you said that drugs do need to be used. In most psychological conditions, even when they're used, like I said, therapy is necessary as well. When there's a chemical imbalance in the brain, sometimes nothing works quite like drugs. But yeah, on almost the same note as what you're saying is, yeah, affirmations, putting all that positive information, positive thoughts and feelings into your head. That's good. I'm safe. I'm well. I feel good today. Those would be very helpful for hypochondriacs.
10-4. Thanks for the info.
The next point of discussion here that I'm seeing that might be good to discuss, and by all means, if anybody has any other thoughts on the mind-body connection, or had a side thought on this or whatever, just throw it out there, But the next question was, who are the way seers, or the people that point the way for this kind of mindset, who are on the forefront of this mind-body connection? I have some thoughts, but I wonder if you guys know anybody that you've heard of or whatever that are kind of talking about this kind of stuff.
I don't know, but I found some more rosemary today, and I picked some. I just washed it. I'm going to dry it out.
Well, I don't really want to go there, but I definitely am going to say Jesus is a very big person for that.
Do you have any examples of where he was about that?
I'm not a religious person, but I could understand how someone who is very believing in any religion could find comfort in that, and maybe get to that tranquil place that Andrew's talking about.
Well, on that note, and Dex, please hold on, okay? Told you I'd talk to you later. Faith can also be a very good healing tool. And it doesn't matter if it's Jesus or God that you believe in, it's just faith. it's all the same, really, whatever it is you believe in, as long as you have faith in something. And yeah, it's a blind thing. It's something you don't see or feel, and it's probably nothing that's really even there. But it's just a belief that there's something there that will help you. Belief is powerful, really powerful. It can be a very powerful healing tool. Like if you go to a faith healer, it's not the healer that heals you, it's you. It's you believing that the healer can, or his power within God, or whatever mystical thing there is, some trinket or goddesses or whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is. The power is within you.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, and that's the point I was trying to make. But I believe Hope wanted a physical, actual something that Jesus did, as a person when he was here, that he, helped somebody via not the magic or the faith that he had, but when he said something to somebody as the mind and the spirit being connected in him, saying, instead of just touching this person and all of a sudden they could see, he helped them to, realize what they were doing is wrong. And no, I cannot think of an example. I guess I would need to go and look through the Bible a little bit more, because I can't remember anything.
Oh no, Dusty, I feel you. I understand what you're trying to say. So assuming there was a real person, Jesus, that walked this earth, right? Whether or not he was ordained by God or not, whether or not you see it that way, that Jesus would have basically given people what would be, in today's terms, a placebo thought, such as, I believe you have it in you to be well within 2 weeks, or tomorrow. Tomorrow you'll be healed. You'll be fine. And so people believed in him so much, just like we believe in doctors. And many people really, really believe in the doctor. What the doctor says is like, the words of Jesus for some people, as if it was Jesus speaking to them, And yeah, that placebo that Jesus would have given people could have been his magic, could have been the power that people saw in him that was so great, that made him so stand out and made him seem like a god, which I'm not saying he isn't or he wasn't. I'm just saying that could have been what did it for people, what made him stand out as a god, let's say, on earth.
Yeah, it seems like he knew the power of the mind and the power of faith and belief, and likely that's how he healed people. I mean, something like blindness, that's pretty hard to heal with your mind, but maybe these people that he allegedly healed that were blind people can actually go blind just from their mind, so maybe they did something horrendous and they felt like they deserved to be blind, or whatever the case may be. There's a zillion cases. Maybe that's what kind of people there were that he healed.
I'm sorry to cut you guys. And hey, Cheryl, Deck's been alerting me that he needs to talk with you about the training session that she has before he goes to sleep, because he was.
Okay, well, I told Dax earlier, and I just told him now to please wait. I told him earlier it would be later on, and it's not later on yet. I gave him a time. You hear that, Dax? I don't know if he's here.
Hope, you got me laughing over here with your double negative. You said, if he isn't or he isn't. I know you didn't mean to, but it was just making me laugh.
Hey, Cheryl, I think your tablet is really close to your fan on your laptop or something. It's coming through loud and clear.
Oh, I do have a fan on. It's warm over here.
Yeah, I just want to point out, faith is definitely, wherever you get your faith, it is definitely a very powerful placebo effect. It is that thing that gives you the strength to get through whatever it is in your life, you know. So if you don't have it, get it wherever you need to get it, whether it's religious faith or just, you know, faith that all will be well, whatever it is that you consider faith, you know, get it, because it definitely can't hurt. And yeah, for sure.
And that is the definition of the mind-body connection.
Okay, here's the other book that the first one I mentioned was The Mind-Body Code by Mario Martinez. Another one that is very, very good. They're both really highly rated books I found on Amazon. So I'm trust me that it's not just my word that sets these as a diamond in the rough, but plenty of others. The other one is a book by Lissa Rankin. It's called Mind Over Medicine. And there are others, but the ones that I wanted to mention were those two. Another pretty good one that kind of delves into this stuff is a book called Super Immunity. It gets into how to boost your immune system, not just in what you eat, but in also your mindset, you know, how important that is. Namely stress. I think most of us know how important, you know, doing things to alleviate, to lower our stress can help our body heal and stay well.
Alright guys, I don't know what I missed, but I'm back. I got some chicken for me. If you're interested in hearing about the immune system and the best vegetables you can eat, I'll tell you about it. I mean, that's if you're interested. Again, I'm a medic, so I know what I'm talking about. There's not that many vegetables you eat. That there's like, I can name them, but if you want to hear, it really helps your stuff and it's the best stuff. It's better than any medicine.
Well, you know, they say that we are what we eat, and it's more true than we've ever known, I think. There is a huge factor that's coming up these days, that it's not just about what we eat. In fact, if you guys pick up this book, the first one I mentioned, Mind Body Code, he mentions he has a huge section about longevity, and where he studied what they call centenarians, people who live to be at least 100 years. And it would really surprise you how these people live and what matters, and you know, it'll blow you away. They don't go by any of the things we think supposed to be longevity, like, you know, veganism, vegetarianism. They're not. You know, stuff like that we would think would lead to a really long life. These people are completely, it's so much more from what he's talking about. It's so much more about their mindset than it is about anything they do, exercise or food. Pretty crazy. It doesn't mean you can eat anything you want, but essentially they're not about that. It's crazy.
Yeah, those are some very good points, man. And I just want to bring up a point about, you guys said you are what you eat. You know, you're mostly made up out of water, so drinking water is always good.
Good point. That's very interesting, Andrew. Yeah, I think I'm going to check that book out you're talking about. That's cool.
I'm just gonna throw this out. See, like broccoli, not cooked broccoli, the fresh broccoli, like when you go to store, it's, you know, like you pick it up. You have to eat it raw. It kills cancer cells. It literally attacks cancer cells and kills them, which is white cells. And you take beets. You need to take a beet in the store, a raw beet, cut it up. I don't know, chop it up, whatever is comfortable for you to eat it. Eat beets. It cleans your liver. It's antioxidant. It takes all of those bad stuff out of your liver, better than any drug in the world. And same thing with what is it? What is the fruit? I have to remember. I'll tell you.
Probably pomegranate.
Yeah, I was going to say pomegranate. Yeah, there's a whole host of foods that are good for you, that that fight diseases. There's tons of books out there and literature on the internet.
Yes, yes, pomegranate. And the best antibiotic, guys, in the world, a natural one, is garlic. If you don't want to be sick, or these flus, all this crap, when you take medicine like like ibuprofen, Tylenol, they don't cure. They just shut down the symptom, the pain or whatever. Garlic is a natural antibiotic that's made by nature. Eat a lot of garlic, and you will not like be sick ever. Literally, if you eat a lot of it.
The caveat, I think, to eating, like I said, eating foods like these is that yes, these foods will help you. If you do get sick, you will be sick for, let's say, less time, and or you might not get sick. But one of the main factors that I think a lot of people don't consider in this equation is that if you are doing something that is stressing you out day in and day out, similar to that public speaking thing that I talked about in the beginning, where it's affecting, like, literally effing up, pardon my French, your digestive system. If you're dealing with something day in and day out that's similar to that, that is what will make you sick. What happens is, I think he said, not oxytocin, it's the opposite. This other one that is released when you're stressed or depressed, that lowers your immune system's ability to fight. It basically depresses your immune system. It pushes it down so that it can't keep you well. So you are more likely to get sick if you're stressed all the time, regardless of what you eat. What you eat will definitely help, shorten the amount of time that you're sick, but it isn't the only thing. Again, you can't just focus on just that and assume that you have the best, strongest system and you will never get sick. You still could, So just little caveat. Balance is very key.
You're right, Andrew. But if you take everything, and round it up, it's literally comes to every disease, every sickness comes from your nervous system, because nervous system controls our body mostly in every way. That's why people have problems.
And that leads me to my final point for discussion. And obviously, jump in, guys, if you have any other thoughts on this whole topic, mind-body connection. But there is a area of medicine called psychoneuroimmunology that has to do with your mind and your nervous system effect, and how it affects your immune system, and how you whether you stay well or not, just based on your psychology. So very intriguing area that you could learn about, even if you're not an expert and you haven't been to school forever. You could get books about it or whatever, and just to help yourself learn what kind of mindset actually helps your immune system versus what kind of mindset actually, like I said a second ago, depression, anger, and other things like that that could suppress. That's the word I was looking for. That would suppress your immune system and potentially, to the point where if someone comes by, with a pretty strong flu or whatever, your body at that moment in time isn't quite ready to deal with that flu virus, and so you fall sick. Whereas if you didn't have all that depression and all that anger in you and whatever, all these other causes that could like, I'm not a professional, like I don't know all of them off the top of my head, but like I can definitely point you to the people that know really well about this. As far as a book about psychoneuroimmunology, I haven't really found one, but these all point to that. And the ones I even suggested are definitely point to just that. They don't have a title of that, but it's definitely, they're pointing to that.
No, I believe that it sounds like common sense. I think the more advanced human beings become, they will understand how the mind can heal the body, and that'll become common medicine. Yeah.
I would love to see that day, David. That would be the day. I'd like to be like, 120, and where they actually have it on like TV, instead of like a drug commercial where it's telling you all of the potential like side effects. It's actually like a commercial that teaches you how to, like this whole idea of love and I am safe, love, I am safe as you're breathing, as you're doing your breathing meditation. Like, I mean, imagine a commercial that would give you a tool like that. It's like, damn, I mean, that's what I want to see. I mean, I'm sure it exists somewhere in the world, but imagine that, like I want to be really old and I want to see a commercial like that. That'd be cool. I could rest very well after hearing that.
Hey, buddy. Oh, I think I'm in the open channel. Zella was acting really weird tonight. Apologize for that, channel. I was trying to get an untrusted user there.
Another name that I could think of that discusses this kind of thing is Louise Hay. If you guys have heard of Louise Hay, she's another author about this. Let me think. Deepak Chopra. Some people think of him as a little bit too far out there, but Deepak Chopra is good reading potentially for that. Trying to think of another off the top of my head that might be good. Greg Braden is one that I've heard of. Who else? If I think of any more, I'll throw them out there. But there's a lot of people that are out there at the forefront of this kind of healing mindset.
I wonder if those commercials you're talking about appear in countries right now that where the government provides the health care, because it would be to their benefit to lower costs. Where here in the U.S., it's to the pharmaceuticals' benefit to raise costs. So I just wonder if there's any British people out there that could speak to that, or France or whatever, Canadians.
I could imagine maybe the Netherlands, Norway, Sweden might have some commercials like that. I think theirs is socialized medicine. I think people pay a large amount of their income for medicine, for whatever, for their socialized medicine, I guess. And you're right, it would lower the costs, the burden, everybody's burdens. They could lower interest, what do they call it? Yeah, income tax, so to speak. And I think their goal is to have a healthy society. I mean, that's like their main goal, is a healthy society that isn't a burden on let's say taxpayers or something, you know. So probably, I don't know where else in the world there would be medicine like that, where the commercials would be like that. But gosh, would love it.
Well, I believe England and France have both socialized medicine also, and Canada. So I don't know.
All right, guys. Well, we're kind of rounding out towards the end of the program here. For those of you who have showed up late to this or don't exactly know what we're talking about, the topic of the night is the mind-body connection. If you have any thoughts on that, or if you've heard anything, or you just, what the heck is that? You come late and you just don't know. Maybe we can help fill you in, give you a little recap. But does anyone else have anything they'd like to share on this topic before we close it out here? Trying to think myself if there's anything else we might have missed that would be good to talk about. But maybe I'll jump to some of the images. I found some memes, I think they call them, memes, for this program. Maybe I can read some off to you guys before we close out. But anyone have any thoughts, any questions?
I don't know, David, that fellow didn't seem like he wanted to talk. We'll just put it that way. Sounded like he was having a seizure or something.
Game time.
Yeah, come back to the open channel, Andrew. I don't know where you were talking. Hold on, let me check the history here. Okay, you were talking in a user, untrusted user section. Tony. Yeah, hi, Tony, and anybody else that's untrusted. If you'd like to be trusted, and you consider yourself a good, respectful conversationalist, please read the channel rules. See if that's something you can dig and you can adhere to. And let us know you've read the rules and you'll follow them. And we can get you trusted in. Click the image below the Z and scroll down for the rules. Thanks and welcome.
Thanks, Joe. Got sidetracked there. Tentatively, my initial thought is to just mute people who are just trouble in the untrusted zone, but you tell me, maybe we need to warn them first. I don't know. Seemed to be a good time for that. But anyway, yeah, this is a quote by Loretta Lamphere something. She says, "The cells in your body react to everything that your mind says. Negativity brings down your immune system."
Yeah, it's not amazing how that works. Powerful thing the mind is. Wish we could understand more about it, know more about it, and use more of it. Yeah, I would be so much more powerful if that were the case. But yeah, if people are just annoying and weird, you can go ahead and prohibit them from talking. We don't have to block everybody. Yeah, if you think they're never going to be normal, just put them on prohibit forever. If they seem like there may be hope for them, just give them a warning.
What's up, guys? Here's another good one. I have no idea who said this, but it says the body achieves what the mind believes.
Yeah, I've heard that one. Or, well, I know this isn't your cup of tea, but you could do like Boston does. You know, throw an insult or two at them and say, nice not knowing you. Nice not talking to you, and block them.
Hi guys, and good morning, my friend and trust. Okay.
Well, if your friend is untrusted, anybody who is untrusted and would like to be trusted does need to go through some steps. Have him read the rules, just like you did, and tell us that he's done that, and we'll follow the rules. We'll be happy to make him a member.
Okay, no problem.
All right, this is another mem. This was some kind of a workshop by Louise Hay, and this is a really good short paragraph about the mind-body connection. I probably should have read this as the intro. So this says, again, this is by Louise Hay, an author. I guess it's from a book or something called 101 Power Thoughts. And her definition of mind-body is for this workshop, I guess it was at the first sign of the slightest disease in your body, and she has a hyphen between dis and ease, dis-ease. At the first sign of the slightest dis-ease in your body, instead of giving money to the pharmaceutical companies, sit down, close your eyes, take 3 deep breaths, go within and ask it, what is it that I need to know? Because your body is trying to tell you something. If you rush to the medicine cabinet, you are in effect telling your body to shut up. Please listen to your body. It loves you.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, that's excellent, Andrew. Another good find. Yeah, you know, you had said Louise Hay earlier, and I thought, well, I know that name. I know her, of her. And then you brought up her name again, and I was like, oh, I know where I know that. The Power Thought cards that I have. And so I was going out to get the Power Thought cards because I've shared them in here, and also just make absolutely positive that that is the person that I knew it was. And just as I was grabbing the Power Thought cards, just as I was touching them, you said Power Thought, coincidentally. And I know how you like that I read these. You know, rather than finding one that's appropriate for this, at first anyway, I will find one that's appropriate for this topic. But I'm just going to dive right into the middle of the deck and grab a random card and read it. Okay, my home is a peaceful haven. Ring of Fire is my peaceful haven. How's that? I bless Ring of Fire with love. I put love in every corner, and my Ring of Fire lovingly responds with warmth and comfort. I am at peace. Like how I replace home with Ring of Fire.
F-tard.
That was great. Oh, that was good pun. That was a good pun. Excellent, Cheryl. And you, the irony in that, as I was thinking to myself for a split second, I'm like, do I need to read the name of the book or whatever that this came from? And I was like, why not? It's just funny how connected I think we are, not just mind body, but I feel like there is something that we have yet to learn, kind of like how everybody believed that the world was flat until science and reality like floored them and proved that it was round. I feel like there is something that is like a wireless transmission, whether it be quantum physics or something, between people among very, very far distances beyond what we can imagine. That's my prediction, and I'm holding to it. I'm pretty certain.
Oh crap! I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying I'm pretty certain there's something we don't know, and that we will one day find out. And it's just that would explain all of these weird idiosyncrasies, whatever you call that, you know, where like you're thinking something and someone else has that same thought. Oh my gosh, I was just touching that card or whatever, you know. That stuff will all be explained someday. If not today, it will be proved, I think, someday.
Yeah, synchronicity, serendipity, these are all wonderful things. We talked about that before. All right, I quickly found a card related to the topic. I love my body. I create peacefulness in my mind, and my body reflects the peacefulness as perfect health. There's another one I found. It's kind of similar. Freedom is my divine right. I am free to think wonderful thoughts. I move beyond past limitations into freedom. I am now becoming all that I am created to be. So, you know, the wonderful thoughts thing is what caught my eye that has to do with this. Yes, let's think wonderful thoughts. They are healthy for you, for your body.
Very nice, very nice. I feel very peaceful. Yes. I think you could cure yourself just reading that whole deck of cards there.
Yeah, little affirmations. They're called Power Thought cards. It's a 64 card deck. It's in a cute box with a flap lid. Lots of illustrations on it, very colorful. It says on the back, a deck of 64 cards to help you find your inner strength. And then quote unquote by Lewis Hay. Affirmations are like planting seeds in the ground. It takes some time to go from a seed to a full-grown plant. And so it is with affirmations. It takes some time from the first declaration to the final demonstration. So be patient. Patient. Something a lot of people on Zello lack.
I found that there is a physiological delay between a thought about health and your actual health. So if you're falling ill and you really don't want to be sick tomorrow, you could affirm all you want today that you will not be sick tomorrow. I will be well tomorrow. You could say whatever you want, but I feel like there is a literal physiological delay between the thought and your body and the 7 trillion cells actually like getting it all together to like start helping you in that regard. I mean, I do believe it, and I've tested it, and it seems to be working for me. Just saying, in case anybody doubts that it is to a certain extent real. I guess maybe depending on how much you believe, how much is your placebo in whether your thoughts actually can affect your healing. At least your thoughts can affect your choices in regards to your healing. Maybe it's not a direct like, I am going to be well tomorrow, and all of a sudden you're well. No, it's probably more like, I'm going to be well tomorrow, and instead of eating a ton of candy or junk food at the end of the night, I'm going to eat like maybe some vegetables, some green vegetables, maybe a banana, I don't know, some nuts, something that's maybe healthier choice, so that tomorrow maybe my body will thank me.
Hey, Hope, can I ask you a question? A serious question.
Sure thing, Hank. First of all, welcome, brother. Hope you're having a good night. Yeah, what's your question, man?
That's great, Andrew. And you know what I've noticed is like for every topic we have, there's always a card that is really closely related to the topic. It just matches like really well or perfectly. And then there's always, you know, sometimes 2 or 3 that are like that. And then at least 1 or 2 others that are like semi-related that works kind of well. Like I've just pulled out a couple that are semi that I'll read.
Holy guacamole. Cheryl, I just looked this up on Amazon. This is the highest rated, like, anything I've seen in a long time in regards to this kind of stuff. Guys, this set that Cheryl's talking or pulling from, you got to get this set. It's called Power Thought Cards, a 64 card deck box set. Like, read my words or hear my words. This is the shit to have right here. It's 327 people reviewed this, 4.8 out of 5 stars, and there are literally almost 0 negative reviews on this box set. There are, out of that many people, there are pretty much 0 that don't like it for whatever reason, don't like it. Like, every one of those cards is healthy and nourishing. So I'm gonna have to go out and get my set now. Maybe I just order it right now on Amazon. I don't know. Awesome. But yeah, what's your question, Hank?
How cool, Andrew. Yeah, the people that don't like it are probably just negative people. They don't like positive things in their life. Yeah, go ahead with the question.
Yeah, there. Hope, this is Hank. How you doing? I'm doing fine myself. There's a book out there, kind of like what you guys are talking about. It's called The Power of the Power of the Subconscious Mind. It states in there that if you put your mind to something over and over and over, put all the will and the might and the power of yourself into it, you can accomplish it. It's a damn good book. I suggest it too.
I like using incense too. Like I use this one particular incense that I really love called I believe it's Song of India from Temple of India, something like that. I think it definitely relaxes me.
All right, so here's the next one, and we were talking about this, listen to your body. Okay, I listen with love to my body's messages. My body is always working toward optimum health. My body wants to be whole and healthy. I cooperate and become healthy, whole, and complete.
It is so awesome. I was like thinking to myself, like, every card from that deck you've ever pulled was like something nourishing, whether it was like directly about the topic or not. It's like when you read one of those cards, I was like, that's really spot on, you know? And I think she really nailed it with that deck of cards. I mean, like, she really nailed it. There's some stuff that's kind of not exactly like, I don't know, it's a little ho-hum, you know? But this set that she's reading from is basically the epitome of the mind-body connection. A lot of what Louise Hay is about is that. And every one of those cards is giving us tools to basically use thought as a way to heal our body, to get us at least into a calm state where maybe our stress is lower, and that is having less of an effect on our body. She doesn't use nutrition very much at all in those cards. In fact, I don't think Cheryl has ever read a card that had anything to do with like nutrition and how you should eat, whether you should exercise or anything. This is simply mind-body tools right here. And there's how many cards? Like, not just 64. It was something more than that, right? I'm not looking right at it at this moment, but I think it was, yeah, 64 affirmation cards. Yeah, it was 64. Maybe there's more, but it looked like it was.
Yes, Andrew. There's not any surprise bonus cards in there. It is 64, but there's something on both sides. The one side has kind of a summary or topic, if you will. It's really short, and then on the back it has something about it. Like here, I'll just grab one. I see clearly is on one side. And by the way, these are all illustrated. And so on the back, I willingly forgive. I breathe love into my vision, and I see with compassion and understanding. My clear insight is reflected in my outer sight.
Wow. Imagine the effect those cards would have on society if every one of them were made into a T-shirt. What effect would they have to the people reading around the person wearing it?
More visibility. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I shared some pictures of these ones, the box and, a few sample cards.
David, I look at that as like a ripple effect of love, like, that kindness, human compassion, love. Like, all it takes is one person who started their day out kind of like shabby to read something like that on someone's shirt, and then all of a sudden their mood goes from the negative ripple that they would have done throughout their day. It would have rippled negative and unhealing energy out there to like rippling this positive love vibe throughout their day to many other people that would then ripple it to someone else and then to someone else. And like we will never know how far something like that will go, but hell, do it. Like, I mean, Cheryl, scan some cards. I'll make it into some shirts or something. I'm just saying, it's like it's a huge ripple effect, and you never know how far it goes. Just do it and be love. It can't hurt anyone or anything to be more of that. That's for sure. And yeah, good stuff. Great stuff tonight.
Can you imagine our government, our society, if they got a hold of those cards, and what kind of change it would be? Wow, that'd be awesome.
I truly believe that ripple, for me, it's just trusting. You'll never know what happens with that ripple, like what you do in the world. You'll never know, but it's basically just trusting that with enough people doing this, and you being one of them, let's say, that eventually this kind of message it can't not get to those people. They'd have to be living in a box, like closed to society, like, and not get some of these messages and not feel like that human compassion, like feel their heartstrings being tugged on like really strongly, to the point where they make some different choices, that might affect a lot of people in a positive way. So like, I don't doubt that it'll eventually make it there. Like, but that's the tipping point. More of this equals that outcome in the future, versus less of this being those type of people can carry on business as usual without ever being compelled to change for the better.
Yes, I do believe there would be a domino effect, just like any act of kindness, that people around that person, that shirt wearer, would automatically, everybody likes to think happy thoughts. Nobody likes to think bad thoughts. I don't think so. So, yeah, there would definitely be a domino effect. That's cool. Cool thought.
Here's a funny little cartoon, whatever, from a newspaper. It was Peanuts, Peanut Gallery. Snoopy. I guess it was. I think this is Charlie. I could be wrong. But Lucy. I think Lucy and Charlie. I don't know. Anyway, the first scene says it has Charlie with his head down. It says, "This is my depressed stance." And he says, when you're depressed, it makes a lot of difference how you stand. He says, the worst thing you can do is straighten up and hold your head high, because then you'll start to feel better. And he's got his head up high and stuff. And then next he puts his head back down and he says, if you're going to get any joy out of being depressed, you've got to stand like this.
That's funny.
I always thought that you have have to go out in the world and be the center of attention. You have to make everybody or allow everybody around you to feel your happiness and your joy. There's too much negatives around. So anytime I go out in public, I may be loud and I may be obnoxious. But hey, if I can make somebody smile, they can carry that smile to somebody else. Ring of Fire, let me tell you, I've only been in here for a little while, but you guys are kick ass. Thank you.
Just being a mirror of you, brother. That would mean you, my friend, are kick-ass. And as well as everyone listening, even if you haven't mic'd up once, you are awesome just for making the choice to be here and soak in some stuff you didn't know before. And, you know, we're all in a different place where we're of learning, you know, and I believe that I will never, you know, stop learning. There will always be something new to learn. And, you know, part of that is coming here and just getting some wisdom from random people from all around the world that I wouldn't have gotten otherwise. So I you know, tip my hat to everyone who shows up for this stuff. This is more of like a I don't know, like an inspirational meme. It has no words, but you know, if you imagine, you know, the movies where there's like an outline of someone's body and you can see their skeletal structure on the inside, like through like an X-ray, and it's basically this guy, and it's kind of like a bluish tint. His body kind of looks bluish and everything, and he's basically putting his hand up to the green, like, you know, circular microbes or whatever that are about to come towards him. With like a black background, if you can imagine this, and he's just got his hand up, and it's pointing to the fact that, you know, we can, if we choose, control our physiology to the point where we can literally like stop those things from harming us. Like we put our hand up and say, no, I don't think so, and like, this isn't going to happen to me. I'm stronger than this. Like, and that is a very, to me, this is a very powerful, you know, nod to the mind-body connection, and how if we make the right choices and we get the right information and actually like take action on that information and take action on those choices, we could do a lot of good for ourselves, you know. And who knows, you know, that can be passed on from generation to generation. You have generations just, you know, leading full, happy lives, and I mean, don't we all want that? I mean, again, some people might think, oh, that's just bull. Like, no one can ever, no, we can't be happy like all the time. Yeah, you know, but, you know, don't believe those people. Obviously, people have their ups and downs, but, you know, why not strive for happy more of the time at least?
Yes, it goes right back into believing in yourself and what you believe in. And if you can be happy with yourself, it'll definitely spread worldwide. It may take a day, a month, a year, or all your life. But when people reflect back on you, if something happens, God forbid, they're going to say, God, that guy was a good guy. He always carried a smile no matter what. And that's what's important.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Like when you die, you know, you would then like live on, you know, in the memory of so many people. You know, you could die knowing that you gave 100% and you put as much, you know, goodness and happy out there. I mean, it wasn't just for you, obviously. Like, you know, through your life, it's not going to be just for you, because like you said, when you're happy, even if you were faking it, if you're happy, it tends to reflect back to you and make you happier, and also it makes other people happy, and you don't know how far that will go. And like you said, it could take your whole life before the whole world would be, let's say, affected by your little bit of, happy for like 1 or 2 days out of your life. But who knows? You just don't know. And I love it. I love the way you think, brother. I mean, that's it. That's the mindset I would hope we could all have.
Well, I do a lot of traveling, and I do a lot of stand-up talking to a lot of people. And the last one I was at, concert, convention thing, I was talking about this exact thing. I was telling people that so many people are scared to go outside of their bubble. Everybody wants to just settle for second best. Well, my neighbor's got a push mower. Well, maybe I should have one too. Well, why not? Why not just go that extra step and get a riding lawnmower? 365 days a year, you go to work, come home, go to work, come home, and get a paycheck. How boring is that? Why not do something that you want to do, something fun, something interesting, something better than the next person? And if they want to, hook their little red wagon up to yours and keep on cruising with you and see what it's above the water, and let it be. But don't just settle for second best. Be who you are. Be sunshine. Pop alive. Be that person. Take it and go with it.
Yeah, so many people are just trying to, bring stuff home from the mall and the store that are cool. And, everyone else is trying to keep up with them, What they call it, keep up with the Joneses, where, they look at what the neighbor's car, if I get a car that's a little bit nicer than their car, then they kind of show it off in front of the neighbors, It's crazy.
That's right. Come on, everybody, chip into this conversation. Come on. Yeah, come on.
I don't know if I keyed over anyone. If I did, I'm sorry.
Oh, I think you're good. Yeah, then all of a sudden, there's people that get more money for not working than working, depending on their situation. Yeah, and then, they're showing stuff off in front of one another to try to make each other jealous, and then they're playing all kinds of dirty tricks.
Yeah, I think the word that we're pointing to here, and I literally just heard this or read this because it was an audiobook, is this word called envy, where we're envying someone else and we're wanting to be and like be and have what they have. The author was saying how destructive this idea of envy can be, because we're always trying to not be ourselves, but try to be and have what everybody else who supposedly is successful has. And it just takes us further and further away from who we are and who we're meant to be and what is our passion and that kind of stuff. What do we want to have? Not what do we think we should have because they have it and they seem successful. Like, find out what our successful is. Like, a buddy of mine just put this quote up. It was an Instagram quote, and it was basically like, the new definition of billionaire is that person who affects 1 billion people in a positive way.
I agree 100%. Exactly.
Yeah, sometimes guys are the worst about that. They'll go out and buy a sports car, and have like a fancy pair of shoes and clothes, and thinking that they're going to get, all these women and this and that, and, they're kind of disappointed, when they don't. Yeah, our culture is really, it's like everyone's trying to feel their emotional needs with all this stuff,
Hey guys, we got a new member here, Joker. Joker, welcome to the channel.
Hello there, Joker. This is Hank. How you doing?
Hank Hill's a pretty good show. Yeah, I like the one where Beavis and Butthead, we're kind of giving him a hard time,
Well, thank you guys. I'm glad to be here. But yeah, I was overhearing the envy. It's not just envy, it's also jealousy.
Oh yeah, and I've seen it in real life, like the worst it gets, I've seen like a family that doesn't work get $5,000 a month, while people are working minimum wage at fast food, have to watch them with a nice car.
I'm fine. How about you?
Well, the other thing I was just thinking of, maybe I'm wrong, help me out if I am, but there's also that thing called a need and a want. You may need or want something really, 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 really bad that your neighbor has, but do you really, really need it? I mean, I don't drive the best vehicle in the world, but it starts up and it goes and doesn't cause me any problems at all. But do I need a new vehicle?
Right, probably not. People want to impress, and they want, they'll pay, 5, 6, 700 a month, for a new vehicle, and have like all these toys and a new phone and all this stuff, and they'll run their credit cards up and live an amazing lifestyle for a while.
Well, it's not just envy, it's jealousy too. And yeah, I think it's BS that the government will give out money like thousands of dollars to people who just want to sit on their ass all day. Pardon my French.
Yeah, some of them are legitimately disabled, and some of them are kind of stretching the truth. Maybe they could work at a McDonald's if they really applied themselves, but they were in like special ed classes and stuff, so they just went with it, and it's got a check early in life.
Well, I was told I could get a check way back when I was little. And I'm not all there. I'm bipolar and borderline personality disorder, but I still work a minimum wage job.
Well, my hats are off to you, Joker, because I tell you what, I used to work at a gas station, and this lady used to come in all the time and hand me over this food stamp thing card, whatever the heck it is, and I'd look at her in receipt, and it'd show the balances on there. She had over $2,000 in cash and about $1,800 in food. And she was sitting there buying licorice and candy and ice cream, and then wanted to take the cash and buy cigarettes. It's ridiculous out there.
Well, I don't think anybody gets $2,000 in a month. Maybe, but probably not. And I know definitely nobody gets $1,800 a month in food. I think the most is around $260, a little shy of $300. I'm not entirely sure. So she's probably been storing up the food money, and probably a little of the other money too. That could be 2 months, a month and a half, 3 months of cash. the cash part. But the food, yeah, obviously she's been eating below her means or getting food elsewhere, and she's stockpiling.
No, back in like 2000 and like 10, I seen this happen. What happens is they get a divorce from their husband and an emergency cash assistance. And if they have like 4 kids, they get a certain amount for each kid, and kids get more than adults do. And they get cash and food on the card for each kid. So you got 5 kids, you know, and you're a single mother, you know, in California, like this was in Merced. And yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember. It was a lot. It was like 7 something in food and like 4 or 5 in cash for each kid.
Oh, right. I didn't take that into consideration. Yeah, she could have 5 kids at around $250 a pop. Yeah, that's like $1,250. And yeah, she still probably has a little food money stockpiled, even if she has 5 kids or people to take care of.
Well, the sad thing is you can't stockpile that. I've seen families who, once they don't spend it, they don't spend it and lose it with the food. I don't know about the money, but with the food, you can't keep it.
Well, you must be able to keep it for a while. I don't think they wait at the end of the month. What is it, after a year or something? I think it's been there for over a year.
No, if it looks like you don't need it, they'll take it. Like within a couple of months, they'll figure it out. You know, but what happens is, I know this because I know someone personally that was doing this back in 2010. They wanted to make her go to work to CalWorks, but what she did was she said she had a bad back, which she probably did in a way. So she didn't have to go to CalWorks now, and she had 5 kids. She divorced a husband, and she claimed that he wouldn't share the money, you know, that he was with her, and she'd moved 2,000 miles across country to hide from him because he was supposedly abusive. So she got a special emergency cash assistance to help her pay everything, you know. And with her 4 kids, being a single mother, you know, whatever, yeah, she got quite a bit from California. She got, I know it was quite a bit. I know it was, I'm thinking like she got more food stamps than she did cash. I know, you know, I know it was enough to feed a family of 5 for the month, no problem, you know.
That's crazy that she actually got. I mean, you'd hope that she get enough, but it's still sad the way that people choose to use it. Yeah, I was going to just close it out with this final thought. If you guys have any thoughts, go ahead and jump in here. I'd like to get this closed out so you guys can get on to some regular open topic chat. But there's this one book that I saw here. It's kind of like a meme. It really kind of hits home. It says, "Your body believes every word you say." And it's an actual book, apparently. So yeah, final thought. Anybody else have any final thoughts on this topic, mind-body connection? And then we can get into...
I don't know, but yeah, I think you're the only person I know of that also calls it a meme. I never heard it, so it sounded like meme to me by reading it out. I hear the other people calling it a meme. So maybe I'll start calling it that so people know what I'm talking about. Not that this really matters, but you guys, is it a meme or a meme?
It could be a meme. You guys have any insights into that? It's like a quote that's with a background that's like kind of inspirational. It's like all floating around social media and stuff.
They're called memes. I've made a few of them.
Yeah, I thought so. I made some too. Pretty funny, really funny stuff.
All right, I stand corrected. Thanks, guys. Memes. I'm writing that down. M-E-E-M-E-S. I don't know. But I think how do you pronounce that? How do you spell it to pronounce it right? M-E-E-M-E-S. Hopefully that will help me down the road.
Roger that. Yeah, I see. I put a picture up here where I Googled how much it's possible for a mother with just 2 kids in California can get. And depends on if you qualify for TANF, Section 8, all kinds of things like that. But yeah, it's quite a bit of money. And if you're in a divorce, they actually suck a lot of money from the dad, and they'll just give you more because it counts as like the child support stuff. So yeah, if they can successfully get him for child support, then you'll get a lot more.
It's pronounced meme. It's spelled M-A-M-E, and I don't know how pronunciation is spelled, but that's how it's spelled as it's spelled, M-A-M-E.
M-E-A-M-E? I've never seen that. I've only seen M-E-M-E. Like Mimi.
He said M-A-M-E is the spelling, but it's pronounced memes. Meme. Or memes. Or like if there's many of them, I guess plural would be memes. M-E-E, M-E-S would be the pronunciation. Maybe. That's the one I came up with at least, but he says it's M-A-M-E is the spelling. I've never heard of it. I have to look it up because like I didn't think they even had a name until like a couple months ago. But apparently I've been saying it wrong. Anyway, assuming there isn't any, and you guys by all means jump in and have some final thoughts, but I'm gonna just go ahead and close it out as far as the program is concerned. I just want to thank you all for being here. I love you all. Truly, the fact that you made a choice to be here is humbling to me. We've been doing this for a long time. We're going to continue to do this. So the next part of this is probably the more important part, I would think. If you didn't think that was important enough, just having good talk about